Hey, it's Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. Checking my notes here. Had a great conversation with sales leader Ron Luttrell. Shout out to Ron Luttrell out of Atlanta, Georgia. I had a chance to speak with him about launching my next book, Better Questions, Better Clients. He had some great questions, and I wanted to share some of them with you because they got my mind thinking, and that's why I wrote the book, right? It's not gonna magically fix your business, your sales process, your customer success, just because you added artificial intelligence. Right? There isn't an expensive piece of software that you can just install, right? Launch, implement, whatever, and boom, things are better overnight. There's got to be some strategy to it, and that's why I wrote this book. Um, and so I'm explaining this and explaining things out loud is important for me because then you hear them differently than you think them. I don't know if anybody else is like that. So we asked some great questions. He says, "Why do we do these things?" Quote end quote. Right. And I love that question because a lot of times we get stuck on doing things the way we've always done them, but that doesn't mean it's the best way to do them. Or maybe it used to be a great way and things have changed. And that's what I really love about as I was rereading the draft, the edit for the book. It's as close to timeless as I could get it because if it had been 1995, I'd bang doors, I'd knock on doors, door to door, and that's I'd do a million, right? Think about Zig Ziglar and his era. They were direct to consumer, face to face, toe to toe, belly to belly. If it was 2005, I'd probably still hit the phones. Probably still hit the phones. Before the internet was as prevalent in homes, connecting someone over the phone was a great way to sell. Right? 2025, calling people is tough, right? Um, Banging on doors is tough. It still works, but you have to evolve. You can't stay stuck in what used to work. And that's where those better questions forces us to ask, hey, why do we do this? Well, that's what we did in 2005. Okay. Is this still the best way to do it? And now our minds start working. So I asked the question, well, this is a question I asked him. Why do other customer facing roles resist sales training? And I definitely want to share this. He said, um, no one taught them how to make it their own. And I really love that little star by it because I don't want to put this book under sales training. I really want to lean towards business development, towards strategy, maybe even operations, because I just want to look at how we're doing things and where we can improve. Sometimes that is sales training. Right? I think if you talk about asking better questions, if we talk about effective communication, we talk about leadership, those all could fall under somebody's sales training. But the point I really want to get across is a personal and professional development. I believe if you grow your people, you grow your business. And as a result of investing in people and investing in your business, revenue goes up, right? Um, Retention improves. That's when we get to. So it's not going in and trying to teach them some magical sales methodology. It's say, okay, here's some things I've learned in my journey that are going to help you in your journey. And he said, if you can help them improve and communicate the way it feels and sounds natural, that's a win. So then he asked me a different question about consistency versus flexibility. And you'll appreciate this for all my sales leaders and sales trainers. How do we create a process that's duplicatable? Right? I can teach the new person, here's how you do it. That's scalable. It works with one person, works with 100, right? Without getting so rigid that we sound like robots, that there's no personality in it. And this is a harmony that has to happen. It's where I pride myself. I don't want you to sound like me. I don't want you to be the killer closer. I don't want you to be the master manipulator. I do want you to be the authentic version of you that hears yes more often. So if you're a CSM, I want your clients to renew. I want them to have a strong rapport with you So when you make a recommendation that adds value to their business, they're going to hear you out. They're going to listen. Okay, tell me more about that. Maybe you're an individual contributor. How are you introducing yourself? How are you explaining what you do in a way that makes them want to hear more, right? And this is where I want you to be yourself. That's the flexibility. And then I'm giving you a framework. That's the consistency that allows you to get consistent results. Another great quote from Ron: steps are consistent, the customer journey is not. That's so important. You get so stuck in saying, oh, this is step one, this is step two, this is step three. You stop listening to the client's needs or future client's needs, depending on which end of the sales process you're on. Uh, that's a huge mistake. So, one course I teach is on listening. I won't call it a course, we'll say a mini workshop. Because listening is so simple, but it's the one thing that everyone can do in any life cycle: marketing, CSMs, sales leaders, sales directors, individual contributors, entrepreneurs. Everyone can do that will improve their business today. And that's what's so subtle about asking better questions. That's really only half of the formula, right? It's like putting a cake in the oven. That's asking a better question. But listening, actively listening, is getting the cake out of the oven, right? That's the important step in the process. You're like, oh, I put the cake in the oven, I'm done. Well, you burn the house down. Listen, I'm a sales leader, not a baking advisor, okay? So we got to listen to those responses to really make that connection, to really have a conversation, and conversations turn into clients. They end up in renewals. They end up in growth. So some advice he gave me was having industry specific trainings, but keeping that same framework that everyone can build on. So that allows me to go deep in my skill expertise, but that allows it to apply that flexibility that allows you to adapt to your customer's journey for your industry. So really appreciate Ron's questions for pulling that out, and that helped me improve as I work on these final edits of the book. Oh, if you want to grab a pre-order, well, depending on how you watch this, you'll just get a copy, right? AskingBetterQuestions.com. AskingBetterQuestions.com. Grab a copy of the book, Better Questions, Better Clients. Let's help you attract those clients that you want to keep. Cheers.